Good evening.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm not in my right spot. Wait, I can't.
I love it.
We had some technical difficulties.
We're doing this the right way, I'll tell you.
So I want everyone to know that I have the power. If you say something in the chat I don't like, I can put you in timeout.
Just mute us.
So in the meantime, I'm going to try and get back logged on, but we'll see.
Do what we do. This is what we do for the people.
This is real. This is real life.
Real time. Real live.
Yeah.
Live TV.
We didn't want people to have to be waiting for us, but
we don't have any cue cards for Kylan to try to make him look like a better guy than he is. We tried. It
was pretty bad.
Oh my gosh, he couldn't even he had one line and it was awful.
He legit, they're like, this is what you need to say to not look like a dick. And he's like, I can't do it. I can't
do it, guys.
I'm just going to sit here and go the whole time and then not say what I'm supposed to say to save my reputation. Here's the thing. You just can't get some people to see their wrongs. And that's just the way it is. Yay! See? They wait.
I have the power.
But yes, it was a fun-filled jury group. I don't know. They didn't ask really awesome questions. Do you think they could have asked better questions?
Production, I think, writes their questions or approves them.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like them. Like the entire time, Tiffany was just sitting there smiling, and I'm like, that girl has way better questions to ask that she's not going to ask.
She didn't even get a question, did she?
No,
I mean,
not
I
really,
for the old days where Rupert just went mental. It was like, why were you such a jerk?
I love those days. Yep, I love it. It would have been good, but I think they were trying to be really careful too. Like you could see Julie kind of panicking as soon as the conversation between Kylan and X started, and they got it out of there. They saved their live TV.
Julie missed air hug until not anymore, apparently.
I think she was like, you know what? There's really nowhere to go. I'm surrounded.
Well, I just really wanted Ozza to be like, what's up, Julie? You wouldn't hug me.
Right?
What the heck?
Thanks a lot. Last person voted out.
Now he's like golden child?
Yeah. Well, he is the winner.
No respect, I tell you.
Right? They didn't even ask. CSI. They could have done a whole 20 minutes about what an amazing show that show is off of their 5-minute preview. And their 5-minute preview. They can't even swing a whole episode for these people anymore. It's just like, watch this preview. There's 17 days worth of food in here. We want you to eat all of it while you watch this 5-minute preview. These people, these crazy, crazy people in production. But we got America's favorite player, which
made the Twitterverse
America got it right.
Totally happy.
It did.
I mean, I thought Andy was going to pop a brain embolism if she wasn't America's favorite player.
I think there was a lot of people it was trending on Twitter, and it was the top used name for the day was vote for Tiffany 97979 or whatever, and they did what they needed to do.
I voted for her twice at least, but I was really afraid because of the discussion that we had about Facebook and what I was seeing on Facebook.
Right.
And you were saying that wasn't the real fans.
Well, but I think the casual people voted for Derek X. And
there were so many.
And there was nothing wrong with voting for Derek X. He was terrific on the show.
If Tiffany hadn't been awesome, that's probably who I would have voted for myself because he was enjoyable.
It's interesting that people who really know the show and live the show and have been tweeting about it for 20 years or whatever, man, they all love her. And there's no question.
No, there's really no variation. They all love her.
No, I mean, ex-players love her, Evil Dick loves her, Rachel loves, everyone loves her.
Yep. Yeah, because
Yvonne loves her.
She has a passion for the game. She's smart enough to manipulate it. She talks to the cameras, and she provides entertainment for the show. It's like everything we want these players to be. She knew that because she's a serious fan. and she was capable of bringing it. So, and I have to give kudos to Claire one more time to say, you know what, when you are an alternate and you can come in and you can play the way you played, and the impact that she had, not just on the game itself, but this overlying theme of allyship. And I mean, she was a great representative for it. And yeah, I'm just so glad. I'm so glad for that. I feel really bad for our original. I mean, that's a bummer, fake COVID test, but I am super happy because I think at the end of it, America won having Claire there over. And maybe next year she can come back without the COVID issue and be able to play the game she didn't get to.
If you got bumped because of COVID, I would think you're already past so many of the processes that CBS requires. Like, wouldn't you be like on the short list to be back in?
You would think so. So, I mean, it's a bummer, but it worked out for everybody else.
Yeah.
Now, can I say, without sounding like a misogynistic pig, that I think Claire looked stunning in her mustard-colored outfit. I thought she looked great.
She did. She really looked amazing. And I was like, I think because she's just like relaxed all the time throughout this show. She wasn't like putting on pounds of makeup for every like DR session. She's just being herself. So she got all gussied up for the finale and she looked amazing.
I thought she did.
Yep. They all looked really nice. They all looked really sharp. But
I liked the dress that Azza saved for the finale night.
Oh, yeah. Did she ever wear the dress that...
I don't remember seeing that one before.
Mm-mm.
No, you remember the one where Alyssa like couldn't get it over her hips or whatever? I don't think she ever wore it.
Yes, that was that yellow. Wasn't that the yellow dress?
Is it the yellow one?
Wore last week?
Might have been.
Oh, Azza wore it? Okay.
It was like one of those like bandage dresses or whatever they call them.
Right? I don't know the names for these things.
I don't know. It was really tight.
You're my fashionista. You have to give me the
I think
names.
I heard it called that before, and it was like, oh yeah, because it looks like a mummy, like wrapped in bandages. It's that tight.
Wrapped up.
I think it's like that.
I was like, I was very excited for Julie when she got to interview Azza, and Azza made sure to let Julie know that everything was in the hands of Jesus. I know that made Julie so proud and at peace with everything, and that felt really nice.
Love one another.
Love one another.
Is that what you said? Yeah.
Yes. Love one another after you give everybody COVID.
Wow. She was full of contradictions, right? And like just a little too much Kool-Aid and
it was
I felt like she lost control of the stage.
She really did. Because like, look at all this is what, again, I know we've said it a million times, but this cast was so refreshing and so much fun. And I mean, like, everyone's sitting there in jury, again, with the exception of Kyland, which is really unfortunate because it's his own doing, so bleh, I don't care. But the rest of them are, I mean, they all like they care about each other. Like, their jokes are for real with each other. I really do think these folks will be friends, with the exception of 2 or 3 of them. I think most everybody is going to be friends for a long time. I think they all genuinely like each other.
What do you think Tiffany will say when she sees all the stuff Big D said, though? Jeez.
I think she has a clue.
Yeah, and I've seen a few post interviews already. There's a couple people that I'll send you some links. Some people that we know who are affiliated with others that have done interviews with her already, and got to show her all of the people that were voting for her on Twitter. And I mean, she's taking it with class. I mean, I just like, that's a thing too, because she is so snarky and so funny. She could have basically owned the show last night with snarky retorts, and she didn't. She was just like classy throughout the whole thing, and that's how she's going to handle it. She knows. I mean, she knows. So whatever. And now she knows that everybody loves her, and everybody really appreciates the game she played. And I think that, yes, that's not $75,000.
I mean, she'll get to keep at least like 30 after taxes, right?
Right. But she's got a good chunk of change, and she's got mad respect in a game that she loves. And I mean, that's good stuff.
Now, let me ask a question. They're all sitting on the stage waiting to find out who got thrown out to determine the final 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was going to walk out the door that Brittany wasn't going to stand up and scream?
Nobody.
I mean, seriously, I'm like, she is just going to scream no matter what.
She is a ball of enthusiasm.
My gosh.
She's going to give it her all no matter what.
Although the thing when she talked about her autism was very touching. I mean,
it was like
very
tear
to eye type of thing.
But then Julie had to be like, the lighting's horrible. Sit down.
That was funny.
I just thought when she said that they were all people, they were going to look at her and be like,
oh
yeah,
my goodness.
we know.
That makes sense.
We know. Yeah.
Right. But, did you? I was pretty tickled that I was pretty tickled that during the final game, like the final HOH competition, that they were both like constantly like afraid to move their answer before she said that they could reset because she yelled at him so many times.
Ozza was really, she was like Stockholm syndrome. She's like
oh my gosh.
And how sad was it that Ozza messed up on that first question?
But how awesome was it that they both, I mean, one got 7 and one got 8. That was pretty.
Right.
Well, it's usually pretty close at that. I mean, when you get to that level, but
and at the,
I was
at
literally
the end
having
of all
fantasies.
of that,
I was having fantasies during the day that Ozza would somehow, it'd be something brainy, but something in her wheelhouse.
She'd get it.
And she would get it and like,
but she was going to
send
take
X out
anyway.
I'm not saying that's what I wanted to happen.
Right.
It's not what I'm saying. I'm not bitter against X for winning. That's good for him. But I was just thinking like, everyone's been saying what a boring season it was. How they never watch it again. Blah, blah. Anyway, but I thought, wouldn't that be a crazy twist at the very end that no one would have saw it coming is all.
Right? Well, and
somebody on Facebook or Twitter did post that like 5 weeks ago.
That's what they
wanted. You could have a Derek and Ozza final two.
Final two. Well, a lot of people were afraid of it, but this is the part that I can't like my most hated thing, but also kind of the thing that I love the most about this last week is I really didn't tune in much for the last week because with the feeds and have you, because I will be like straight up, like 95% of the feeds was Derek just treating Ozza like crap for like no reason.
Oh, no,
and it's like really bad.
It's like, Big D, you're in a final 3. Both of the other 2 players are going to take you no matter what.
Yeah.
You could not be in a better position. He is such a bad player that he managed to take somebody and convince her to give up $750,000 in order to teach him a lesson. I mean, you have to be pretty nasty to somebody for them to be like, you know what? Because she was gonna take Big D. Like that's how it was gonna be.
Yeah,
he was her best
she knew
friend.
That's how she would win easier.
And he just went off about how she didn't do as much as he did in the game, and she didn't contribute. I mean, and it was never ending. It was never ending.
And with the way it was just flying out of him. How did she not go like, wow, it really sounds like you've had some practice saying these things about me? Because he wasn't even pulling punches. He was just rolling.
Yeah. And I loved that he got asked, what are 2 contributions? What are 2 contributions that you brought to this game that got you here? So, I mean, you know what? He made friends with the right person.
Yeah.
And that was his winning move. Period. That's it. He made friends with the one person. He really did not help Xavier win the game.
Yeah,
he just did it.
He did.
Well,
by
he
being,
did
being
by
a
just
guy
being
who can't
useless.
get a vote, right?
Exactly.
Which was Xavier's plan all along.
I mean, he never at any point saved him when he was on the block by winning a competition or winning a veto and taking him down or whatever. He's got the money. I don't have the money. So, I mean, he's got that. But I'm glad his mom can get the health care that she needs. It sounds like she needs it. But, man, worst player ever. Not worst player to win second place, just the worst player. Unfortunately, it's just how it is.
It was funny when they got to the point where they started doing the reveals of the secrets.
I loved it. Yeah. That was fun.
Because it just seemed like there was another one, and then another one, and some of them.
I love how like all these women were like, "I'm smarter than you. Hey, newsflash, smarter than you.
Yeah. When they talked about what everybody actually did for a living, it was like.
Then Brittany, like, I could kick your ass.
Well, but I got a kick out of that too. Smarter than you, but sitting out here.
Right, exactly.
Right? I mean,
no, it was
that.
Fun.
And I have to say, and I know it's going to be controversial, X played the best game. And I will defend that to the end. Tiffany had an opportunity, one decision away from her being one of the best players in history. And she couldn't do it. And I get why she couldn't do it. And I give her kudos for it. But
I think
you can't be the best player.
This is my honest to God's truth. Like, this is really, she made a mistake. It cost her. But I will just say that if Xavier did not have Tiffany as an ally all the way up to 6, he would have been gone within before jury.
I'm not positive that's true because I think he could have won competitions whenever he wanted.
Well, but see, so could Derek. So could Derek X. And Derek X went home with the support of Tiffany. And so could Christian, unfortunately, for better or for worse. He had competition. He just had 6 people that were willing to cut ties.
The man could do a backflip.
6 times. What was it? 5, 6, 100? Did he do like 100 backflips, I think?
Hashtag things I don't like about Christian.
He's entirely too flippy.
He's very flippy, but you know what?
And he's too good looking, and he's just annoying.
And I think he's just like, I don't think maybe he's not like the sharpest tool in the shed, but I think he's the
sharpest. I'm not even sure he's a tool.
Well, he's definitely a tool.
He might be like a flower pot.
It's totally.
He's a flower pot in the shed.
No, he seems like he's pretty nice. I like that Alyssa got like the message from him in jury. Like, instead of her family, it's Christian. Do you think she was like happy that it was him instead of her family? Like, was she cool with that? Did she like that better than seeing her family?
I don't know whether she really likes him or that's a showman's thing, and that's
you know what? She's shy enough about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't get a feel on that either. It feels like she does like him, but then there's moments where it feels like she's kind of awkward about it.
Yeah, it's just so funny because could you imagine being like, okay, you got all these other people in jury and they're getting all these like video messages from home, from their parents or their siblings and their dog, and then like somebody who was in the house 3 weeks ago pops up for you. Like,
oh, I mean, if you could bring Zingbot at the end, he'd tell Axe, you won everything except Alyssa.
Except for the lady.
Because she wasn't interested.
Nope. I mean, you can tell she liked the people that she was in the house with, but she didn't like the people she was in the house with.
No, I mean, she was absolutely friends with him, no doubt. And she liked him a lot, but it just wasn't that.
Definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I did like that we got, of all people, this is the best, that Brent was the one that got to call Tiffany's game out and give her the justification and the reward of saying, everybody knows this was your game. You were the best player.
I mean, she's the architect of one of the best strategies I've ever seen.
Yes.
The problem and the fatal flaw with her game was not the bad decision. It was the inability to be ruthless when she needed to be.
Yeah, and she kept fanning out. She kept fanning out.
But X would have, X, if you reverse that situation at 7, X keeps Alyssa, puts Tiffany up, sends her home without mercy.
Yep.
And he would have said the 6 doesn't matter. All that matters is the 1. And
yeah. And I honestly, even if Tiffany came back and played again, I don't think Tiffany would be able to make it because they would be on her. They know. People know. You know, it's not to say she couldn't, but it would be an entirely different.
How'd you like to see a season with like Tiffany and Devon in the same house? Would they align, or would they? Because they're somewhat similar personality-wise.
I think that they would align because simply based. I mean, it's not to say there wouldn't be moments, but I mean, they're big fans of each other. They really are. I think they have mad respect for each other.
Fans and mad respect for each other when you're not in the house together.
But I don't know. I think that they would work together really well up to a certain point when they realized they had to go if they had to go against each other, like if that was the position they were in, that they had to play against each other, then
now I gotta say, from the whole cast, most likely to come back has to be Tiffany.
Do you think so? I think the most likely to come back is going to be Hannah.
No, I think Tiffany's so beloved by the fans.
She is.
And really I mean, I wouldn't surprise me if not. She won't be on Celebrity, but if she's back next
Derek
summer.
Derek X would be back.
Derek X.
I mean, he'd at least be invited back.
Derek X is young enough; you could wait a couple of years. He's like 23 or something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hannah too. That's why.
Yep.
She'd come back like 3 more times.
Yeah, I don't think Hannah would do as well the second time through.
She might not. She might be better because she is really, really smart.
But people would know that going into it.
The only problem Hannah really ran into, and I guess like people who were really watching the game, they know she's really, really smart. But Hannah's fatal flaw was honestly like her only real flaw in this was, and I don't even want to say it's age, because I don't want to throw that and say that that's the fault. But we've talked about this before. A lot of people who are like extremely intelligent and usually above the intelligence of their peers, the hardest thing for them is to recognize when they're wrong. And she was always very confident with everything when she was wrong.
Well, and I give Tiffany a lot of credit for that. Tiffany had a tremendous amount of EQ. Tiffany realized when she pissed somebody off and went back and tried to fix it.
Yeah.
Like the whole like good morning snit that she did.
Yes.
She realized it rubbed people the wrong way, and she went back and said, I was just having a bad morning, and I'm really sorry.
And she didn't have to do that, but she knew.
But that's EQ. She was picking up how people were responding to her. And I don't think Hannah was acutely aware of how people were responding to her the way Tiffany was.
Well, I mean, she lost her place next to Xavier because of that. And I mean, kudos to Hannah, because I honestly feel she was in the right place to do so. But when Xavier was like going through his like crybaby week about everything and just being so mad at Tiffany for wanting Claire to stay.
I think that was contrived to put a target on her.
If you go back and you watch if you go back and look at like Taryn's deep review on Xavier throughout the entire game, he did that same thing multiple times. It wasn't contrived. He just had hissy fits sometimes. And that's where they were at. That's where he lost his temper in the game. Nowhere else. Cool as a cucumber. But man, when one of his own was going to have to go on the block, he lost his cool. He got really temperamental about it.
That was the week he started using the B word all the time, wasn't it?
Right. And then Hannah said,
I think
stop.
You picked that up from Derek, though.
And then Hannah said, stop. Why are you being so mad about this? Because you literally just, I mean, she's not doing anything different than what you would do. And then after that, the connection that Hannah had with Xavier was cut, like right then and there, because he was looking out for her a lot at the beginning, but after that he was like, no.
Well, and I said, but Tiffany should have never picked up that HOH, and I think she would have survived.
And I still think they would have cut her first.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I think they were all going at, because they knew depending on who won that following HOH, Tiffany would have had to win it to stay.
If she and Xavier made it to the final two, it's a coin toss. I don't know who wins.
No, exactly, but that's exactly why Xavier would not have let her stay. And
the same reason he cut Kyland, as I said he would. He wasn't going to hesitate. He didn't want Batman versus Superman.
Right, and
let me be clear. Kyland is not Batman.
No.
He may be like the Penguin. Okay, but he's not, or the Riddler or something.
He's way more two-dimensional than Batman, for sure.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And Tiffany would have worked with Kyland all the way up to the end. Like, even with the little, like, she would have stayed with Kyland. And Xavier knew it. He knew that Tiffany would work with Kyland. Kyland wanted to. One of the biggest reasons why Xavier's game looks so smooth, and some of it is contrived, some of it is his own doing, but then it also is just a lot of dumb luck, in the sense that people would come to him with information, then he would just be like, oh yeah, okay, let's do that. He was never the one creating plans.
But sometimes that's the better person to be.
And that's the thing. I'm not saying that that's necessarily bad gameplay.
I mean, Boston Rob did a lot of that. Boston Rob would lay back, and he'd just people would come to him and he'd go, "Okay, we'll do
Cody.
that."
Yeah, Derek and Cody, same thing. Like would Derek's plan have worked on his season had he not had the particular castmates that he had?
Right.
I don't know that he would have, because like that's the thing sometimes too. If you're thrown into a game, any game, and everybody is at the same level as you on their social or their competitive streak, that's a very different game than you're way smarter than the rest of the people you're playing the game with.
Right.
I mean, right there, you've already totally tilted the scales that this person's odds to win are much higher than the rest, simply based on that alone. So a little bit of dumb luck involved with this game for sure. And that could be anybody. So again, I'm not downplaying it.
No, but I'm saying, I think what he did is he figured they would get to the 6. He figured they had the numbers, they had a plan, and he didn't worry about that.
Nope.
And I think he had a plan absolutely from 6 to 1.
But he did help that 6 that did not get along with each other all the time stay together. And I will give him credit.
Well, yeah, by being the calm, cool father figure.
Sure. It's hard. It's hard to work like we said all the time. It's hard to work with people that you don't necessarily get along with, especially for a cause. Just a cause, and the unity of it is that's where I really feel like that's where he deserves the most accolade, is in his ability to keep the group unified.
Do you think that, well, obviously, I mean, we've seen so many alliances every single year that don't make it to the end, right? They always break before.
Yep.
And you think, like, why didn't they just make it to the end? Why didn't they just stick together? They would have done better.
Absolutely.
But I think this cause helped them to cement to each other, right?
Because it meant, I think, because they realized it meant, if they made this big thing about it in the beginning, which they did, and they all brought it to the attention of the fans, once they did that, they obligated themselves to see it through.
Well,
and they did.
Ironically, it was Tiffany who made the 6 thing important.
Yep.
And had she not done that, had she just said, the goal is to make an African-American champion,
right,
she'd have won the season, because she would have felt obligated to throw Claire out.
Yeah, because I still think, given the players that we had in the intelligence in that house, there still would have, all 6 of them wouldn't have been the final 6, but I could say at least 3 of them would have been in the final 6.
Yeah,
I really think so.
Well, no doubt. And
I think 2 of them probably still would have been in the final 3, truth be told.
Yeah.
But it's like, in a normal alliance, the only thing you have to bind yourselves together is trust, or a mutual trust. And that's always really hard to put your faith in, because there's nothing to base it on, right? You don't know these people. But because they had this idea that was bigger than all of them, that and they could recognize that they all believed it, that formed the trust for them, which most alliances don't have. So going forward, I hope there's other people who get together and find these commonalities, so that they can feel more trust together.
I don't think it ever works again, because
it may,
because
not in this particular, in this particular way. I won't. It just
because everyone's going to see what I see, is that
Tiffany
should have made the move at 7 and wins.
It doesn't have to be a cause, but people have to find some commonalities.
But I would also like to put out there, at certain people in this house that were not in the 6, Brittany, Derek X, Claire, for certain, and Alyssa, even though she didn't really realize it, bless her heart. She's very sweet. But some of these people that were in the house contributed to making it possible, as smoothly as possible, because they recognize it instantly. They recognized it too. This is something bigger than me. I'm not going to get this. I have to step back.
Well, even when some of them didn't even like each other.
So
they didn't think there would be an alliance, because how could you always be an alliance when you don't like each other?
Well, that was what was brilliant about the plan,
picture, right?
Mm-hmm.
Had the alliance become apparent in the house, I don't think it would have helped.
No, it wouldn't have.
But because they kept it a secret, and they did this each person had a person except for Derek, who apparently doesn't get a person.
His person was Frenchie.
His person was Azza. She was, and he was gonna go with her until he decided to be like, yeah, I'm more important than you.
He is so. We were watching the night. I was watching with my 15-year-old daughter, and the amount of comments that were coming out of his mouth, he just comes across as such a woman hater.
Yes, and this is like literally 90% of his funny jokes. He just sits there and makes everybody laugh. No, you sit in the room and lay on the bed and just talk smack about every woman in the house, with the exception of Brittany.
Newsflash, ladies, he likes dudes.
It's thing. but because he doesn't like ladies, I would not take him to Vegas with me. I'm not going to have fun with somebody who doesn't like.
Here's the thing: is I will, in a group setting, crack on a guy more than I would on a girl. It just right. I feel like dealing with the bros, man. I can be pretty brutal.
Sure.
But with ladies, I'm not going to pull that crap, right? So,
but he wasn't giving it around equally. If he was treating everyone the same, then that's just your personality.
And he wasn't goofing. It'd be different if he was just a smart ass who was goofing. But he had some disdain for these women.
If I'm going to be a smart ass, I'm going to be a smart ass to everybody.
Now,
you know what I mean?
Which is odd, because it appears that he has strong women in his life. His mother and.
But now, riddle me this: would you rather be in a house for 3 months with him, just smack talking every lady around? Or would you rather be in a house for 3 months with Kylan sniffing all of the food items?
All right, that was weird.
It was so bizarre. I don't even know.
And now my son's all like, I'm going to smell these things.
I wish they'd come out with that before they did
this drink smells good.
Because his superhero should be the sniffer.
Sniffer, right? Yes, it would have been too. It would have been.
And like a dog the look on X's face. Like, I'm never going to touch those tortillas again.
I know, like him just sitting there and watching him and taking it in. I think
but the man is like picking his underwear off the floor and going, what?
Oh my gosh.
What are you smelling for?
But he does like a lot of really like odd things that I don't think. I mean, it's just people have their weird habits, I guess. But like one of the things that he did is he would wipe his nose when he was done eating, like with his paper towel or napkin or whatever. He'd wipe his nose and kind of wipe inside of his nose a little bit, and then wipe his spot on the table with the paper towel. And I'm like,
no.
No.
Please don't clean the table.
Yeah, don't do that. We don't need that. Leave it. But yeah, he has a few little, I don't know. He's got some work to do. His peopling skills aren't top notch.
It's funny how he didn't appear that way through the first 2 weeks.
That's because
was it just a good edit, or
because he's nice looking and has beautiful teeth?
What he works with,
and he works with like children.
Doesn't work on everyone, but his curls work for him, I think.
Did you see the clip going around? He was on Price is Right. Did you see this?
No.
He was on an episode of Price is Right, pre-COVID Price is Right. He didn't win. He had to guess the price of a trip to Greece. He had to win a trip to Greece. He had to guess the price. And it was like $22,000 or $19,000, and he guessed $22,000 and didn't win it. But yeah.
So 50-50 didn't go his way.
No good. No. But he seemed very, very nice and awesome on that,
So we were all happy that Tiffany won America's Choice.
So happy.
All okay with X winning.
Yep. I'd have been good with Derek X winning.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, okay, in order to feel sort of okay, cause I just like, guys, I can't even I don't know. Christy, maybe you understand. I don't know. Like the weeks that the week, especially the week where Tiffany was getting dogged left and right by these guys, and this whole week, even just this last week, constantly Azza stood up for Tiffany a couple times, because Xavier's like, no, Tiffany wouldn't be able to win. Tiffany could never win. Her game wasn't that good. And Azza was like, I don't think you realized how much she was actually doing on your behalf. Like, I don't think you're giving her credit where it's due. And he's like, no. I mean, like, just so dismissive. And I don't know if it's because I've experienced things like this, or just a sense of empathy
it just
for
makes
the
you feel icky about
situation.
them.
It really bothered me so much that, not that they weren't kissing her butt or thinking she was the queen of the house, but just that they were just belittling about her efforts and so much
There
that
couldn't
she
be any
did.
respect
So,
for her.
right. And so
Right.
her winning America's favorite player, to me, like, it was so important that she won that, because I knew she could come home and she could go on Twitter, and she would very quickly realize how she was viewed, and that everybody, like, was rooting for her or whatever. It
People
wasn't
saw her.
about
Yeah.
that, but I wanted them to actually
Yes.
see it.
Oh,
I
why do
needed
you
to
think she
see
got
them
America's
see it.
favorite player?
Right, right.
Was
I
it
just
because you guys were carrying her?
Right.
No.
Exactly. I just needed them to see it, because Derek was just, I mean, Big D was really convinced that he was going home with that. So he
Okay.
really thought, and I mean, why wouldn't he think that if you consider the money he was getting early on in the game?
Yeah.
So,
True.
So,
I mean,
Jamie, as our resident Big Brother historian, who've watched many, many, many seasons,
yes.
can you think of a number or a person who went out who played as good a game as Tiffany did, that really, deserved better than they got and just made a single mistake? Or
Maybe not maybe not exactly in the same manner, but I mean, other players that I feel like she is at the level of, if not above. Dan Giesling comes to mind. You can tell she was a fan of his and really studied how he handled people in the house and how he worked the game. He was never not given credit. That's the difference. I mean, like, even the people that he was in the house with were like, "Ooh, like, don't, if we're gonna try to cut him, it's because he could win this." It was never because he's not doing anything, but that's somebody who's, I mean, I feel like once every 6 seasons, we get somebody who's really great. Vanessa is somebody that comes to mind. She was really great in that. She played a great game. She really understood people. She manipulated all of the chess pieces where they needed to go. Um, the fact that she didn't get the win is still like, what? Why?
I always thought that Paul never won a season, and I always thought he was deserving his first season. But every time he'd come back, he just couldn't recapture it. But he really
No.
deserved to win.
Yeah, I mean, he had some fatal flaws in his game, but he really played the game. I like his first season. Like, I really, really enjoyed him as a person, as a player in that house. When he came back, I didn't like it anymore.
But his initial first season, he was awesome.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's why they had him come back so much, because people were all left with he should have won.
Yep. But I mean,
Tiffany
there was also, I'm awful, because there was also just something so delicious watching his face when he realized he wasn't winning again. I mean, I don't know. I like the ups and downs of all of the peopling that happens in this show. I mean, all of these other shows, like, Survivor, The Circle, all of these that are similar, they all have this peopling thing. But Big Brother is unique because they don't let them get away from themselves. Like, that camera's going all the time. So for better or for worse, whatever they're doing in that house has to represent something, because it's continuous. In Survivor, you get the highlight reels, which can be bad if you're somebody who's really playing a great game. Like, look at CBS, how they played Tiffany this year. If we didn't have the live feeds, we would never know. We would never know half of the things that this woman was accomplishing in the house.
Well, it kind of makes you wish for Survivor live feeds. We can talk about it later.
Yeah.
But you can see how they can manipulate how somebody's perceived.
Yeah, because they have to put a story together. I mean, it's a really important thing with these shows is what's the story we're going to tell. And when there is so much going on and there's like 4 different directions that is they have to make the editors on these shows to me are always it's always so impressive how they can just come and
they have to make something out of nothing.
Yeah, and file through all these little conversations and be able to get a narrative that they can go forward with. It cannot be easy most of the time. But we miss out on a lot because the storytelling is so important. I love that Big Brother gives us the opportunity to see the story unfold as it really is, even if it's boring. Even if it's boring, it's still real.
Thing, though. Why was it boring? People would say it was boring. There wasn't a lot of action. I don't know that necessarily makes it boring. It was It was a satisfying season because the people who were playing well played well the whole season, right? Okay.
Yes.
And their alliance stuck together. When we see so much action and backstabbing, it's because no one can keep their word to each other. Right. So the fatal flaw of the boring season is that they put together a strong alliance. They had each other's back, that weren't going to flip on each other, right. And they were willing to stick together till the end.
And I mean, can you blame?
That's what we always want.
We want, yeah, we want that team. But it's because the formula of one big alliance sweeps through the house is just what we always get because it's a tried.
But you know what? Method. 6, that's not a big alliance.
It
when
isn't when you
like,
consider
it's not fair because the entire alliance. At the beginning, they didn't. If those other people would have seen early on
that there was an alliance of 6 formed, right? But I guess another part of it is there's the one point of it where there's us as a viewer and saying this is what we want to see, but then you think you can know all of these things, but then be in the house and go, if I stick with this plan, I've just increased my odds of getting $750,000. Or I could do this, which everybody would find more fun, but I'm risking $750,000. Right. Everyone's always going to go to the boring story because it's what gets them closer to the money. So maybe there should be, you know,
when they did, not only did they have a strong alliance, they monopolized the game. They won most every HOH.
And all the prizes, right? Except for Sarah Beth getting the one.
So people are like, oh, they didn't deserve to make the thing. Yes, they did. They
but even when they didn't win the HOH, they controlled who went home.
Right.
They found a way to pit the people not in the 6. It was masterful. It really was.
Yep. Yeah. It was. There were a lot of things that were really fun to watch. Was it boring overall? As far as like, was there? No, there wasn't any flipping. There wasn't this side of the house against this side of the house. It's not that kind of sport anymore.
There were no surprising votes. Really, it was
no. It's just not that kind of sport anymore. But this is one of the things that I'm glad Tiffany, some people are calling Tiffany out for this and saying, hey, this is part of the reason why she was so fun to watch is because she did something. There was something she did in this game that was running this exact same method over and over again. It was getting boring, but she found a loophole in it. Like she found a way to create a new backbone for the game going forward. So just like in Survivor, and Jeff's like, hey, we're on season 41. We're not on, this is different. This is a new Survivor. I feel like Tiffany represents a change in Big Brother. And I think it's going to, there was so much involvement with the fans this year talking about the game for better or for worse, things they liked, things they didn't like. There's a new, the production is changing in the game. I think next year we might see, knock on wood, maybe I say this every year, but I think next year Tiffany gave the producers and the creators of this game the opportunity to see that they could change things around and it would really be embraced. So and if it's a hit with Survivor, I think we'll see it in Big Brother too.
I think you're right, but I think the producers need to realize that the fans don't turn in for the gimmicks; they turn in for the people.
Right.
So find gimmicks that make the people have to interact, like Like on Survivor with the risk, not risk thing. I mean, okay, it's a little contrived, but yet it works, right?
Yep. And
I'm
just going to say, do you, before we switch over to our other show, do you think that everyone, we already know everyone's comfortable with who won? It was a deserving win. We're not hateful about who won. We're good with it. Not a major letdown. No bitter jury. I was glad to see that Big D didn't get a single vote because he shouldn't have.
He shouldn't have got that $75,000 either. But
I actually thought Azza might throw him a pity vote.
I did not think she would because she was mad. That girl was mad. Did you see her face?
She would have at the beginning of the week, for sure.
Yeah, I think before the end, before her being alone with her week with X and Big D, changed.
Well,
her
and you
mind.
saw in the feed she was spending all of her time with X.
Yep.
And I don't think that was a crush as much as she didn't want to be around Derek.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yep.
Oh,
well,
maybe
he was
X
going after her about it
too. And X got to feel that. He's got to feel that tension too, and he doesn't like it. So maybe he was like,
weird.
Let's just hang out here.
I think it was a rough weekend, and he kept telling DX too. He's like, "Cool your jets, man. You're safe. I'm taking you. Stop getting so upset with her. Like, it's fine. We're gonna go. You're gonna be sitting right there.
And why now? Like seriously.
Like, don't
We're
do
literally
this.
days away from being out of the house. And I get it.
Like, this is where we can all
nerves or whatever,
sleep as long as we want, eat, and just wait for the week to pass. But
now drink that bottle of champagne.
I was surprised when Azza won over Derek F and was going to go up against X. Why X didn't just approach her and go, why don't we just agree to go final two no matter who wins? Because that would have been a smooth move, right? And you and I are just going to agree to this because we got to the final two in this competition and that should be the final two. And then he would have guaranteed his win.
Yep.
And they could have been like first black man, black woman couple, final two. Could have been a whole thing. Okay, David, here's the deal. In our heads, that's how we're going to remember it. Okay?
I'm down with
They're going to look so regal sitting there on this chair.
I gotta say.
So beautiful.
I thought Tiffany had the worst edit of the season until I watched the last 2 weeks and I realized it was Azza. The first 6-7 weeks, she got this like ice queen. She didn't say anything.
Right. Which is so funny.
And I can't believe she suddenly got a personality, implant. And, she was charming. She was funny. She was.
Yep.
And you saw none of that for like the first 6 weeks.
Oh, like you could tell she grew up like a theater kid, man. She was a goofy nerd. She had such a good sense of humor. She loved being like over dramatic when they were doing like their little shows and stuff.
And her singing.
My favorite part though was how much she loved her mom and dad. When they came on, she was just like, "Oh, mom and dad, mommy and daddy," I thought that was awesome.
There were so many good people. Even Brittany, who made me crazy. Like, I can't say that I couldn't hang. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. Like, I don't know that I could hang out with that in a house for a long time. That's way more energy than I'm built for.
Yes.
Yeah, I get it.
But I think that
Jesus.
She is probably such a fun kindergarten teacher. She's probably so great.
Oh, sure.
Probably amazing at it.
Love her.
And there's nothing that she's good people. You just know she is.
Oh, sure. So, and you know what? She'd be good people when you're ready to party, right? But you're walking into work at 8:00 on a Monday morning, and she's
all you want is coffee.
Do not talk to me. Do not say good morning.
Yeah, or when there's like a new policy at work that it's just going to be the pits, and she's all like, "Let's really be motivated about it." No.
Yeah, there's no I in team.
Yep. You're like, there's an I and get out. Get.
Maybe she and Christian should get together and do some like super exciting, like pump it up team where she can like scream and yell and karate chop and he can backflip and they can just like get crowds all and energized.
I'd be super okay with that.
I'd
watch it. I'd be like, yeah.
Just once I want him, not I want him to land on his head. I don't want him to get hurt. But maybe he breaks his pinky finger or something.
Right. You just don't want him to look like it's so easy. Like, a little
He like
struggle.
skins the top of his head and gives himself a bald spot.
Or maybe he shaves off his eyebrows. I don't care, They're back, by the way. They're back.
I was just saying, they grew back nice,
Looking
fresh.
good. They're looking good. Well, I don't care. The people who said it's a boring, I don't care. Like, there's people who watch this game and people who are alumni to this game that said, "Oh, it's very boring." I don't care. I loved the season up until like the last week. I kind of tuned out at the last week, whatever. But
sure,
I thought we had awesome people. But it felt good rooting for practically anyone in that house. Short of like 3 or 4 people, I felt good about rooting for anyone in that house. Mm-hmm. It was fun. I liked it.
When they get to Final 6, anyone except Derek. But yeah,
exactly. Like,
and it depends on what kind of watcher you are. On reality shows like this, you're either the viewer who's watching because you want to watch the challenges, you want to see the competition, and there's the people who want to see the wheels turning and the strategizing and the who said what when they said it where and who heard it. Right. Those layers. I like the competitions, don't get me wrong, because that gives them the power to be able to do the things they need to do strategically.
Exactly. Right? That's like the keys to the
for
car.
Me, it's always about the interactions and how they're working
and me too, yeah.
And that's why I really struggled with the feeds. Now, I didn't have the feeds, but I followed all the people on the Twitterverse that had the feeds and would put
I don't have to get the feeds. I can just read them.
No question. Right. But here's the thing. I liked it because I felt like I was seeing much more of what was really happening in the game. What I didn't like was I'd go to watch the show on Sunday or Wednesday and be like, well, I already know what happened.
You're like, I already know who's going to win.
And that part I didn't like. So,
but the fun, I mean, it doesn't work all the time, but the majority of time, you end up finding out who won veto, or who usually it's the veto that comes first that you'll read about and say, okay, this person won veto, and then it's like 2 days before that episode airs.
Right.
So that does kind of cut you out on that deal. But the great part is that the feeds go down whenever there's a competition, and they go down a good hour before the competition starts. They stay down while the competition's going, and sometimes they stay down for hours after the competition. So there's something really fun about tuning in for the feeds just to see if they're back on and see who has the veto medallion around their neck because they've come in from that backyard, or who's fighting with who because they weren't supposed to win the veto, or
who's freaking out because they needed to win it and they didn't.
I mean, not that it's great TV because vomiting is the worst, but sometimes it's really funny because you're watching people run to the bathroom back and forth because they get so sick on some of these spinning things. And so there's this, there are definitely.
Well, Alyssa vomited on TV.
Yeah, and
Brent
was sick as a dog.
Huh?
Brent, the day before, on the veto challenge, when he lost that veto challenge because it was the spinning thing, he was so sick that night. Like, Tiffany kept bringing in new buckets for him. Like, he couldn't even make it to the bathroom.
Hours and hours later.
Yeah,
wow.
And I'm like, and to me, I'm like, but aren't you like a flight attendant? Like, don't you think that if you're in the air all the time, you would?
But is it really the moving, or is it the adrenaline and the nervousness and that? Because for me, that would be enough. If you put a little bit of movement in with that, then
it's over the
top.
But
I'm not normally someone who gets motion sickness, or.
Or if
but I think if I was nervous enough,
that's like another really fun thing too. Is like if you just. Because I mean, I have a life and I got kids, and so I can't sit and watch the feeds all day. And I mean, I check on them a couple times a day. Like when you would flip on news for the background, sometimes I'd have the feeds on in the background while I'm making dinner or something. But it's like you go through Twitter and the people that are giving the updates. Like I knew when Tiffany was going to tell Claire about that she was going to have to go on the block. And so I ran to my TV, and the whole time I'm watching this, I want to watch, but I don't want to watch, but I wanted to see how it really went.
How is she going to be able to spin this? Yeah.
Right. I wanted to see how it was really happening, but it was also because we had the Tiffany edit that we did through CBS, I wanted to see it with my own eyes versus what CBS was going to tell me, she said, because I didn't know where they would go with it. And even more than that, it was watching. It's just, this is one of the weirdest things about Big Brother and the love that so many people have for it, especially the live feeders, is that we're watching in real time somebody be told that there's a cause bigger than her and it's going to cost her her dreams. Like,
sorry.
it's
so FYI, it's also a cause you believe in, so you can't even be mad at me.
Yes.
Ta-da!
Like, being able to watch a human being take that information in, twirl it around in their head, and figure out where to go with it is just incredibly interesting.
Well, I'm glad she realized there was nowhere, like, okay, well, what can I do with that? I can't. Exactly. You can't do anything about that.
And my final thought on everything with the jury is that it kind of seemed like it was a roast, which to Big D. Did it feel a little bit roasty? Like they were kind of. So I liked it. I like they gave him a little bit of a hard time. And I have to say that Sarah Beth, I think spending this time in the jury house with her peers has been really good for her, because I feel like she was so much more there than we ever saw her throughout the entire summer. Like, she seemed really to be.
I think she's one of those personalities that paranoia got in her head and it just wrecked her.
Yep.
So she couldn't trust anyone. But then you're in that house,
so
you're like, oh, I can actually enjoy these people.
Yeah, she seemed healthy and happy, and she looked beautiful. And so I was like, I know it's so silly, but I'm like, oh my God, I just love all these people so much, and I'm so happy for all of them. And that never happens. I'm so happy. Sorry.
Yeah, usually the people who are out like the very beginning, even of jury house, you're like, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
we got to see Frenchie. We got to see Frenchie again. He wasn't allowed to speak, but he was present.
And they let Christian speak like 10 times. What is wrong with the world?
Because they love Christian. They love him. He'll be back for no reason. God, no. He'll be back.
He's going to be back on Love Island.
He's going to be on something.
I would like to see him on that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I've never seen an episode of Love Island. I'm proud to say.
Well, if you were ever going to watch it, go watch the British version.
I almost watched Dancing with the Stars.
Fantastic. It's almost cultural, the English one.
Well, do you think out of all of this cast, if one cast member was to go from Big Brother over to Survivor, who would it be? Who do you think the odds are on we'd see in Survivor? Yeah, sure, whatever. Who do you think's most likely, or who do you think would be great? Whatever.
Well, I mean, I think Tiffany would be great at Survivor. I think she'd be better at Survivor than she is at Big Brother.
I don't think she would be as good in Survivor.
I disagree.
Because she's not really physical, and I think that the bugs biting her and the yucky no food, and I think that would be a downfall for her.
I think you could throw Xavier or Kai in there. They'd both do well. I think, I think Brittany would do good over there. She seems like she seems like one of those kinds of personalities that they would throw into a tribe. Right?
Yeah, I could see it. And I think that Derek X. I think that's my pick. I think I would pick Derek.
I think Derek X would collapse like a house of cards, because I don't think he's that strong.
He looks like he can swim. He looks like he has a good swimmer's
like
skill.
A swimmer's body.
Being able to swim and being able to swim in the ocean are two different things.
Yeah, but I mean, there's some people in Survivor that just can't even swim. So I mean,
there's some people in Survivor that can't go.
Siri couldn't swim at all, right?
And my favorite is, I always like to watch and go, who are the swimmers and who practiced before they came? And you can always tell by the first dive. You always know.
Before we leave Big Brother, we go to Survivor. The next is Big Brother Celebrity, right?
Yes.
Okay. So question for both of you is this. Who do you pray will not be on the show? And who would be
Kardashian.
And who would be your ultimate pick?
Okay, my pray is no Kardashians, no Adam Carolla,
and
no Joe Rogan.
Housewives of any kind either.
No housewives.
No housewives.
Somebody from the circle could be fun. Because now they're kind of a celebrity. Yeah. Because I mean, like, they pull from anything.
Enough to get on there, though? Somebody from the circle?
The first circle, yeah. The first one. Maybe the first one.
Oh, you think the first one?
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I don't know. It's such a weird thing, because their ideas of celebrities really, I mean,
no, but I'm saying if anybody was available, like, you can pick Elton John if you want. It doesn't matter.
Jack Gladfelter.
Jack Gladfelter is not a celebrity.
Celebrity thing.
He is he is to me. I don't know what's wrong with you, David. I'm Jack. You're a celebrity me.
Well, Jack was supposed to buy me a pork chop and never did, and I'm not forgiving him.
Sure, Jack Glatfelter. Put him on the Celebrity Big Brother. But the last
He'd just be like, "Get me out of here! Get me out of here now!"
Why am I?
I need to leave.
I cannot stand
these kids.
Yeah, they'd be making him crazy.
They're on my lawn.
So true. That would be.
He'd be pretending he was sleeping all the time. I think last time they did it was like they did a shortened season. They only did like 6 weeks versus like.
Right.
Do you remember?
Yeah,
it was very short.
Yeah, really short.
And it was a bunch of kind of.
Was it Tom Green season? Was it the season with Tom Green?
And Meta World Peace.
Yes.
And Julie said Meta World Peace like 10,000 times.
The thing.
So I think what's the guy, Jack, the one that was from 30 Rock, the Page, the Forever Page? Jack, that actor with the high energy. Put him in the house. I can't remember
his name. Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, because he could like swim around the whole group, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, put him in there.
I can see that.
I see. You know who would be ultimate for me is Anderson Cooper.
Yeah, that'd be great. And man, Anderson Cooper after a couple shots is like the best. So
Yep.
The best. I learned
just
like
everyone forgets he hosted them all.
Right, he did. That's a good one. Has Dennis Rodman been on Celebrity Big Brother? He seems like somebody that would be. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just it's tough for me because Celebrity Big Brother, like the rules are so condensed and different that like I can't really get behind it unless there's like one or two people that I think I would really have fun watching.
How about Britney Spears? Now that she's like,
dad free and her own self.
Yeah, Dad got fired yesterday.
Good.
Who got fired?
Her dad.
Free Britney. It took years, but
her dad is no longer
her dad.
Yeah.
And so they named a truly impartial third party who is actually advocating for the conservatorship to end.
I think it's the weirdest world that we live in that we can sit here on live video and talk about a show that's filmed with live videos all the time and then be talking about a pop star getting free from her dad's financial control. All in one podcast. This is amazing technology.
But I'm just saying, she'd be interesting.
Yeah, she would be fun. She would be interesting to see. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, like, there's a lot of Comic-Cons that got canceled, so I'm pretty sure they could dip into that pool and get a lot of celebrities really fast.
So no David Hasselhoff.
Nope.
Oh, but that would be so popular in Europe.
But he's been in the Big Brother house before. He's been in there. He was a guest. He was a guest on one season of Big Brother. Yeah, he was there for like a half a day, but
I hope they spread it around. I hope they have like movies, TV, Broadway, singers, athletes, like spread it around.
Maybe a Peloton instructor, like
Chelsea Handler would be pretty
Dancing with the Stars just did that.
She'd be good.
Yeah, Chelsea Handler would be good.
Oh, she'd be awesome.
Yeah, she's just pretty entertaining.
What's the other gal with the long black hair, the comedian? She's
Sarah Silverman.
Oh, she'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, please put her in the house just for the comic relief.
Right. I don't think CBS could handle the edit button on these two having conversations. Awesome.
The two of them in the house together. That would be.
And maybe just throw in Kathy Griffin too. Just why not?
Kathy Griffin belongs in the Big Brother. Well, but you didn't see things before. Okay, so Kathy Griffin has been on there before, and she hosted a competition. But her and Julie had a big falling out after the whole
She was on a season of Celebrity, wasn't she?
No, I don't think so.
No, they only did one celebrity.
No, because her and Julie had a big falling out, like a public falling out after the whole like Moonves thing. So
did she call her Chenbot right to her face? Probably.
Yeah, she said all sorts of like near Kathy Griffin things. Like that's my impression, isn't it good?
Love it. Awesome. Well, she loses her mind sometimes.
As we do.
Should we switch gears? Should we?
Yes. Let's shift on over to Survivor. Big Brother was great.
So that's it. Finale finito.
Ba-doom boom.
Are we going to podcast the celebrity or no?
I don't know. It depends who it is. It depends who it is.
Well, it'll be February in Missouri. What else are you doing?
Nothing.
Seriously.
Probably dodging a tornado.
It'll be 85 and sunny here.
Well, no, because they'll run that over the winter. Won't that be like January?
February
time is when they did it last
February.
time.
Yep.
So there won't be a lot going on.
February.
We'll be stuck inside.
Not me.
You never know. We might
whatever.
I might do it just to do it. I don't really watch it, but
we might be stuck inside, but we will not be underwater. I promise you that.
Oh, if we're doing February, I'm so gonna like podcast poolside. I've got all that time to figure out how to do it.
From the lanai.
From veranda.
I'll be like, you guys are gonna like see me down in the storm shelter. That's where I'll probably podcast because we get like 2 tornado warnings every February. I don't know.
Every time you say storm shelter, in the back of my mind, I'm going NTM.
So
it's
true.
Like that.
I mean, like I literally like live 10 miles from the Kansas line. So like anytime there's a tornado, I can be like, we're not in Kansas anymore. It's over there.
Please just keep them over there.
Yep.
All right. So Survivor week 2, we get to see a little bit more of the people, get to know them a little bit better.
Well, folks.
Hang on, we're switching to Survivor, right?
Yeah.
Yep. That's what we're doing.
What are you doing there? Are you opening something else up?
Headlines.
So have you prepped?
No, you'll see in a sec.
He's probably bringing up the cast.
I'm changing my name to he who does not predict correctly.
Okay, well, you can change it from here. Okay, so now I'm a bozo because I didn't know I could change it from there.
True.
Though I'm on my phone, so I have no idea how that would work there. So are we feeling good about the people that we picked week 1?
I still think Brad's going to be a formidable opponent.
Okay.
I mean, there's a little more tension.
I mean, come on, the man ran down the beach, dove into a bush, overheard a conversation, and then told everybody.
Okay, that was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
All whilst using hunting references.
And he knew enough to know that he needed to close his eyes because otherwise they would feel his gaze upon them and become suspicious that someone was watching him.
Yes, Brad.
I mean, maybe it helps. Maybe it does. If you close your eyes, it does help you be like more.
Well, when you're a kid, okay, do you remember like playing hide and seek when you were a kid? Did you ever like close your eyes feeling like you were hiding yourself better if your eyes were closed? It's got to be this.
No.
Whatever that is.
But if I was hiding in the bushes, closing my eyes might help me not scream if there was like a really humongous spider or something.
A scary snake, sharp blades of brass.
When I was 23 or 24, we got a bunch of beer, and it was me and my buddy. We were hanging out with 2 girls, and we decided it'd be fun to break into Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago. So we did. We broke into Lincoln Park Zoo. We scaled over the fence, and we got in, and we had our beer. We were looking at the lions, drinking beer.
It's always the lions. What's with you kids and your beers and lions?
A zookeeper comes, and we all scatter, trying to find a place to hide. And I run alongside this building, and I find a bunch of bushes. I'm like, I'm going to get in the bushes. And I'm thinking, I don't exactly know where these bushes are. Is this safe? Is this a really good decision?
It could be a tiger on the other
I'm kind of next to a snack bar, I think, right? And I've got to be 50 feet off the thing. And my other buddies are like laying on the little, like, next to the fence, like right on the road. Like where you look at the animals.
Where you can visibly see them.
You know I got caught. Because I didn't close my eyes. I looked right at the dude. He went, you!
He saw you.
I mean, the moral of the story is he put me on the back of his motorcycle, drove me to the exit, and put me out.
See, they used to train militias, right? I mean, we used to fight wars with the idea of, fire when you see their eyes. So close your eyes. Everybody, when you're hiding, close your eyes. See, God just closed his eyes. I can't see him. I can't see him. There he is.
Well, little kids think that's the best way to hide. But, yeah.
Well, he figured it out because he wasn't spotted.
Because it was very zen, actually, for him to say that. Because it's closing your eyes so that you can, like, calm yourself and keep yourself still. I mean, that was way more zen than I would have thought a Wyoming farmer would have had in him,
Right.
So, well done.
He's got a little Phil
Brad.
Jackson, like a Phil Jackson type of vibe. You know who he is, the old Bulls coach.
I'll be honest. You, he does not look like any farmer I have ever seen. When they showed his dad looked like a farmer.
Yes, his dad totally doesn't
look like a farmer at all.
Because he looks like Howie Mandel is playing a farmer for the day. It's the hair. The hair is like so brat.
Because no farmer would ever have their hair that long.
No, because I mean that's not
he's
practical.
A rebel farmer.
I think he do you think you know what? I bet you there was a couple years, right, where his dad's like, son, someday you're gonna take over the farm, and he's all like, I can't live your life, Dad. And then he went and did a cover band for a couple years.
And
he
you know,
it was like
and you know what he played,
don't you?
It was Def Leppard. He was
no,
totally
but you know what instrument he played?
Oh, he's a bass player.
Clearly a bassist. Exactly where I was. We're tracking.
Because he's got those hunchy shoulders for playing bass. You're not gonna.
Yep.
Well, and he doesn't look like he gets the women, and the bassists never get the women.
No, because they're the bass players, man.
The drummers, lead singers, lead guitarists.
Bass players are the rhythm that never get the cred.
Huh?
You know? The bass players are the rhythm that never get the cred because it's not as flashy, Unless it's Duran Duran and you're John Taylor, then that's different. He gets
that's
or Entwistle
most
from the Who.
Bass player that ever was touched a bass, so kind of throws that whole theory out.
You know that goes.
Sorry.
Okay, so we don't have Brad entirely pegged, but I think we're pretty close.
But
I still think he's the winner.
But he's doing some good things that I was impressed with, but at the same time, he's really ticking people off.
Yeah, but it won't be long before they mix the teams up, so he'll be fine.
Okay, am I wrong? But I sort of feel like already, because they're like, let's deprive these people of the things they normally have in the first week. I feel like we're zipping right into the everybody's pissy pants mode a lot faster.
Oh no, and that's what's been great about it. Look, I love what they're doing as far as reinventing it.
Yep.
Because the game feels like it's on steroids. It's going faster. It's more interesting.
It feels like it did in its first season when we didn't know what to expect or have any ideas of where this was going to go or what it was going to be. We just saw people living in the elements and being hungry and this. You got to think this show created the idea of having alliances. This whole
and then one dude said, maybe if I do it naked, everyone will be thrown off, and he did, and the producers went, we never thought of that,
and everyone was thrown off. And then the same guy was all like, taxes.
Didn't he go to jail? Yeah, he went to jail.
We don't do taxes in Naked Town.
Wait, when you win money, don't you win it free and clear? Hello.
The thing is, Survivor has done a lot of things over the years, but it has basically kept its methods pretty much the same.
That's what I like. This feels different. This feels like anything can happen.
But I like it in the sense that it really is the same sort of where's this the first season did? That the stakes seem higher. You're hungry. You don't have these things. You have to earn these things.
They're taking our flint every week. They're taking the flint away.
Yeah.
It isn't like, here's 3 bags of rice and a flint and a chicken. Have fun.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There are no chickens there. Yeah, exactly.
So what did you guys think of what, Nasir? Is that his name?
Okay. How did he go from being everyone's enemy to being beloved on his team? Because I picked him to go home, of course.
Well, I mean, when you give people food and you give them fire, because I think he'd lose that one on the first day that nobody was clicking with. They weren't connecting with him personally. They weren't but then when he goes and he's literally throwing, what was he throwing up in the tree to get the jackfruit down?
Oh yeah. I don't know, his shoe
or something. I don't know. It was almost like he had a boomerang or something. That's not what he had. It was just a stick, but he was throwing it up and it took him 3. He didn't have to get up the tree or anything. He just threw it. Boom. He had the fruit.
Can I ask a controversial question about him?
Sure.
Magic.
Do you think people weren't getting with him initially because of his personality or because his name was Nasir? In other words, was he kind of getting othered a little bit?
I feel like if he was being othered a little bit, I don't feel like maybe
right.
Right, like the accent, the accent, the background. Like I'm not quite sure.
You don't really
know what I mean? Like what my take is. Because
like,
if you don't know somebody with his background, right, and if you don't know somebody from his background, like what do you weigh that against?
Well, and how about how they're doing
you
that?
Can't say like, oh, cool, Sri Lanka, love it there. You've never been.
Yeah, right.
You know, like so you're trying to find these commonalities.
But how about how they did that? Like right at the right moment, he said, "I'm from Sri Lanka," and they showed like where he was from and some of the background instead of doing like 10 minutes on each or 3 minutes on each contestant the first night. They're kind of introducing it slowly.
Right.
As their story becomes more prominent, right?
More relevant.
I think it was great the way that we got to see where he was like, this is why I can do this. Like this, I'm comfortable with it.
I literally lived like this.
I literally pooped in a hole. I pooped in a hole.
Yeah. And this is a thing too, as I think that something we always see, something that we always see in Survivor is that even if somebody would be a physical threat, unlike Big Brother, we don't get the physical threats out right away because we need to assess who's an actual physical threat that could be looked at later, but we need you right now. And then there's the provider. Whoever can fish or make fire stays for way past their due date.
Okay,
they always do.
Except for this week. And I was going to bring this up. Are we seeing a change of that motif too? Because what ended up happening is the weak person didn't go home. She was able to rally support from her group to send a much stronger person home.
I'm just so on the fence with how I feel about that whole move tonight. Because on one hand, yeah, okay, cool. Girls rally together. This is going to be awesome. But then we have this Tiffany is not cool as a cucumber and is losing her mind because she's super paranoid and worried. And I think in all of these games, of course, it's important, but specifically in a game like Survivor, when you are it's so fast, you can't flinch. You cannot show that you're weak because being paranoid is instantly jumped upon. Right. If you look at a pack of wild animals, especially like dogs, like pack animals in general, if one person or one creature in that pack is acting sketchy and paranoid or worried or won't go into the woods with the rest of the pack and is acting too worried about it, the rest of the pack will turn and kill the one that represents danger for the rest of the pack because it causes attention and causes a sense of danger that can spread throughout the tribe. So the fact that she's still there doesn't say anything about her. It says something about the girls around her. Because that's why.
But it does. Does it say something about how people are aligning now versus how they've traditionally aligned? We just saw a sea change in how people aligned on Big Brother, right?
And they're getting, but it's. I also think that sometimes this could just be a tribal thing. If we were just starting to see this theme with every tribe,
Well, we haven't seen enough people go home.
Right.
There's
definitely a shift. But I kind of think this tribe just
stays tends to benefit the young men.
I just don't think that this tribe is. I just don't think this tribe is playing a very smart game right now. Maybe.
I don't disagree with that. I'm just asking if we're seeing a change
by Evie.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Evie really was in this position to go this side or that side.
Right. And it's interesting, right? Because she sees it as as a gameplay. There's going to be no secrets. I'm going to tell everybody else's secrets. And I'm just thinking this cannot end well for you. I cannot see where it benefits her in the end game. Because she really is just she gets, she goes onto this, she's talking to another tribes person and she's like, blah, 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 blah. And he just sat and was like, okay. I didn't see him go, well, here's a return of information.
Right. Well, I hope he did. I hope he gave some information. Maybe that was just the edit. I hope that it wasn't that one-sided like that.
I mean, granted, she had some information to give, right? About this new immunity idol being being available, but
Mm-hmm.
so, but I know that I've been talking about people's teeth a lot, but this is why I'm talking about people's teeth a lot, because
I swear every single person gets teeth whitening before they go out there, right?
Oh my God. I'm like, who
Everybody.
are these people with these amazing, beautiful teeth?
Everybody. I was like, when you go on a desert island, does that make your teeth whiter? Like, I can't. It's got to be like,
you know who doesn't have amazing
part of
teeth?
the makeover before you go out there.
You know who does not have amazing teeth? Brad.
Right. That's why he's going to win. Because he's the
Brad's
island
like,
of the misfit toys.
We're not wasting our time with pretty teeth.
They were that Xander though. They were getting angles at him. I'm like, he's as pretty as the girls.
I know somebody on Twitter said it looked like he was about ready to go to like a speakeasy because the way he had like his hair.
Yeah.
And he has these long lashes. So they're talking. I was like, wow.
Yeah, he's very, very pretty. He's pretty, and it's not even like, ooh, you're like this rugged guy. They would have liked him
in Greece, like 100 BC. He'd have been very popular.
Yes. He's very, very pretty.
Very popular with the Greek men.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a pretty. When they say pretty boy,
no offense to the present day Greek people.
Yeah. Right.
Enough. What?
Yeah. He's got some looks. He's got some good angles.
Well, I thought he was sitting in a good position, and I thought he had a lot of good ideas for them to
But he's in trouble. He may not have a vote the rest of until the merge.
I know. Okay, so let me play this out. Okay, so we have an idol that has a secret code.
Yes.
And by the way, butterflies are my dead relatives coming to visit. I'm certain.
Right? They are mine. I say hi all the time. So we've got this idol. He has to activate it by stating this code, this silly butterfly sentence,
and then they'll recognize it.
Which
all he has to do, I
don't know if it's editing or not, but I felt like everybody got way too weirded out by that very simple statement. And then I was like, I would never last with these people. They'd pick on me so fast. If that like freaked them out, I say way weird stuff.
Yeah, right.
I'd be like walking up to everybody like, your teeth are so awesome. I love it.
They're all like Ross after he got his teeth whitened on Friends, right?
Right, it's glowing.
Whoa.
He's glowing. So
they don't give you sunglasses out there. So
Zing. Gotta get the activation code. Put out the activation code. Gave the password. Nobody bites. Nobody else has got it now.
Nobody has it though, literally,
because nobody knows what he's talking about.
Now did it I may have missed this, but did it state in the rules that the other two that have to come into play in order for it to work, are they like, is it on their part of the island, like, or does he have to like wait until, is it on other parts of the island?
Like each tribe has one, so the other two tribes have to find theirs.
That's what I thought. So
yes.
So he could be 3-4 weeks without a vote.
Oh my God.
In which case, yes, that's horrible. In which case they get their paper and they see their thing that they have to say, but then they see the other two that the other people will say. So supposedly they're supposed to recognize that.
Well, they're going to recognize that he said that if they get it. I mean, butterflies and dead relatives.
Now,
I mean,
the extra vote that he has. He can't play it.
No, because it says you may cast no vote or something.
Okay. So that's no.
See, I was thinking that he could use that
because he came out and said I have an extra vote, but I can't use it. So,
but couldn't he have given the vote to the other guy
and said, "Here,
use this so that we don't go home"?
Maybe I don't know. Okay, so here's another thought on that. Does this? Okay, so obviously from the outside, this looks like really bad news for anybody who would get this, because like you said, you could go like weeks and weeks without being able to have a vote.
Well, and how many people are going to find it and go, no, I'm not going to take the risk?
Right. Now, however,
why vote out the guy who can't vote?
But they don't know who can't vote.
Exactly. So does that mean that somebody
they're not hearing anybody else saying anything random at the thing?
But
you know what I mean?
Right.
But my point is the rest of his tribe has no idea that he can't vote. They don't know what the rules are.
His alliance knows, though.
Well,
his alliance is like 5 people.
And he told Evie, and Evie told everybody, so they know.
Evie spread the news like wildfire.
Evie told the other tribe.
When this is all over, I hear he's having lunch with Christian. I'm just saying.
Right.
They're going to do backflips and look pretty.
So to come up with these phrases, because they're not even a phrase. Like, let's face it, nobody says those things.
What were the other two? Does anyone
like
remember?
broccolis are like small tree. Broccoli's like small trees.
Small trees. Yeah, I just realized broccoli was small trees.
I'm just like, if somebody said that to me on the island, I'd be like, right? I know. That's what I always think when I look at it.
Right,
Like,
but they're not saying it to you as conversation. They're saying it in the middle of when Jeff's talking.
Well, he didn't have to do it that way. I think the way he did it was really awkward, and he was like the first one to talk.
But you have to say it there at the challenge, right?
Well, I think that Jeff is like, I'm pretty sure they're like, Jeff's going to give you a prompt. Is give you a chance to say something, because like right away he called them out. He was like, Xander, blah 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 blah, and then he's all like, I'm gonna say something weird and crazy, and then
by the way,
like, weirdo.
Did you notice what he said when they all got there? Hey guys, come on in.
Did he?
First thing out of his mouth. Couldn't believe it. No,
that's because that's just what people say is, hey guys. I mean, I
understand, but he did this whole thing on the whole virtue signaling thing on how they would never do it again.
But then maybe everybody was all like, here's the deal. America
Except
says
they can't go back and read it. He either said it or he didn't say it. That's already pre-taped.
He said it.
That's so weird. Okay.
That is
weird. Way to go, Jeff. Way to go.
So here's the thing. If they know he said it again, why even bring it up in the they could have edited that out if it didn't become a thing. That could have gone away.
And I looked it up. He did date a previous contestant, but it was not poverty.
Well, I didn't think it was her, but I don't know who it was.
It was Julie somebody or another.
Julie somebody.
We looked it up last week.
Did we?
On air.
Are you new?
Maybe I was tired.
Oh, maybe you went to the bathroom.
Okay, so we've got the immunity. He can't use a vote. But okay, so he is somebody that would stick around for a little while because he can help win competitions theoretically. But moving forward, if he's still sitting, like let's say they have to merge or switch tribes or whatever, if they're dropping buffs, then he could potentially be in actual danger without anybody having that knowledge. He could be in danger because he's conceived as a threat. So at that point,
here's the thing: if the person ends up on your tribe, whether you've done this tribe swap or your original tribe, if he's on your tribe and he can do well in the challenges and swim and do all of those things,
you got to keep him.
But you don't need. But he can't vote yet. Like, keep him.
Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of him. If I knew that his vote didn't matter.
When he gets on another tribe, they won't know he can't vote necessarily.
That's true.
Maybe he'll tell them.
Well, okay.
Okay, but wait.
If he realizes it makes him not
depends on where he goes, because Evie's already spilled the beans to the other tribe.
Sure. Yep.
Oh, that Evie.
It's just one of those things where you can use
I find her fascinating, but I think she's going to go quick.
Well, I think she's going to burn that candle on both ends really fast. So
who, Evie?
Yeah. I mean, a really important part of this game is secrets. So yeah, like your secrets is like currency, but if you're giving them all out for free, that's not going to help you.
Well, I hope that it ends up getting her endeared to whoever. Who is that she told?
Everyone?
No. She told
the other gal, and then she told Tiff.
What is his name? Yeah. See, I'm not good with names. I'm the worst.
What's the girl's name? Was it Shan?
Chantel?
Yeah.
With the big hoops?
Was it Deshawn that went? Is that who was with her?
I can't even remember now.
But she told whoever that was, and then because they made the deal beforehand, like she
Deshawn volunteered to go.
Which was really smart when she was like, hey, this is how I'm going to turn that wheel. Like, I'm protecting my vote. So and you can make your judgment call off of that. I do think that bit of information was, I think that was smart.
Could gain trust.
Yes.
And Deshawn seems like he's okay over in his tribe.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
So maybe it'll pay off for her. I don't know. I hope it does.
So we keep Tiffany, who, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, listen. I'm not a very athletic person. I always feel for somebody when they struggle in a competition, but that was like ridiculous. That was a level of ridiculous.
I mean, come on, it's a 10-foot balance beam. You can't get across it.
I know. Like,
not
you could
even
just sit and
scooching yourself. Why are like
that
seriously?
was like,
come on.
to me, it was like watching somebody throw something intentionally, because it was just like, there's no way that you can't just scoot yourself across.
I mean,
It's
unless
ridiculous.
there's some other factor that we couldn't
Yeah,
understand.
like, does she have like a messed up equilibrium? I mean,
or is she like afraid of open water? Like, I don't know.
Or is she just cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, which I think may be the case.
She could be.
It was just,
yeah, there were some times where her tribe was talking to her, and I know, how old is she?
I don't know, like a mom age of some sort, because they all like are momming her.
I thought she's around 50, but maybe a little less.
Okay.
Yeah.
Most of the people that I know around that age aren't as clueless as she is about some of the stuff that people were talking about.
It was a little,
to understand.
Yeah, it was a little off-putting.
Like,
and
she
like
couldn't
last week, I was
follow
like,
the-
oh, cool, they like her. She seems like she's pretty fun, and then that's going to work really well for her. If she's not great at competitions, her personality will keep her there. I'm telling you, if I was on that island, I'd be like her. She's got to go. She's got to go.
Because they were even explaining to her how things are. And she started getting all panicky and like, well, if they split the vote, if he has the idol, he doesn't have the idol yet.
There is no idol,
and he can't vote. So, and they're like, well, she's all.
She should have gone home. I don't get it.
12 times.
Yeah, and I'm kind of bummed out, because I was like really looking forward to kind of watching how our neurosurgeon like navigated the game for a minute, you know? Drats.
Yeah, that makes no sense that why they got rid of him.
I know.
Because what's the next thing?
And the weird thing is was this a complete like blindside? Well, it was a blindside against the viewers, because they didn't show us any conversation where they were like, let's flip it on him.
Yeah,
like
they
nothing.
They did a little.
I mean, not really.
The thing is it just made too much sense to send Tiffany, because you think, okay, we've already lost a person. We're going back to tribal second week in a row. We still haven't won anything yet.
Yeah, because your little like girls alliance,
and she couldn't, and she took 11 minutes to get over a 10-foot balcony.
Right, and the girls alliance isn't going to mean anything, because what did they use to validate what they were thinking? Well, tomorrow we could trade tribes. Yes, you could. So your girl alliance isn't going to make it past tomorrow.
Right.
Maybe. I mean, it's work. Right. There was no reason to get rid of who they got rid of. Not really. I mean, maybe they didn't like him. Maybe there was something that maybe it was because he was a guy and not a girl. I mean, but there was really from where we're sitting, there's no legitimate reason that he went and Tiffany stayed.
Not unless they want to go to tribal next week again.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, do you want, because next week when they go, it can be you.
Yep. Exactly.
So
if Tiffany survived this week, it could be you.
Go back.
Yep. It could be you next week. So yeah, I don't know. And I mean, like, Evie might be interesting to watch in the game, but like, as it stands right now, as we know right now, she's not to be trusted. So even if she's in a girl alliance, I think she would flip if she saw a better opportunity.
Well, I'm not sure if she's really in the alliance. I just think.
Right. I think she's like, yeah, sure. It's one of those. For now.
I think last week, them getting rid of Eric made her strongly in the middle, right? Of their 5, she's strongly in the middle.
Sure.
And when you're in the middle like that, you got to kind of pivot back the other way so you can stay in the middle. And so taking out Tiffany, and then, you go back, now maybe you take out Voce. But like, it makes no sense to continue to take the one side out.
There was nothing that he wasn't in the way of any of their possible success, and he hadn't done anything to harm the tribe. So no, I don't get it. I don't get it. There has to be something else there, maybe, but from where I'm sitting,
and honestly, there was no reason to get rid of Eric the first week either. I mean, that was but whatever.
It is what it is. It is what it. But this tribe, I can clearly see, is going to get picked apart, and this tribe is. I don't think this tribe's going to be for long.
I have a feeling they're gonna reduce to 2 tribes pretty quick.
Yeah. But
I mean, it could be next week.
So
it could very well be.
It kind of looked like next week there was like some I don't know, something happening in the dark.
But the only thing is that makes me think it can't be next week is they've got this the idol thing hanging out
Right.
there. And what's the point in doing that if you're only going to let it go for a week?
Okay, so how many people are still in their tribe?
They have 4.
4?
Yellow team has 4.
And the others have 5 or 6.
6, right?
One has 6, one has 6, and one has. Oh yeah, they both have 6.
I don't know, because the fantasy site won't update for some reason.
I know, I can't.
Okay, you know what? When I couldn't get the fantasy site to update, and I couldn't get into the feed or into the stream, I was like, "What is going on?" Okay, so
sun flares,
it's
man.
not just
There's
me.
Sunstorms and Mercury's in retrograde. I'm telling you, the stars are against us
Mercury
today.
is in retrograde. It has been one heck of a hard week. If you're trying to communicate with others, take a beat.
It isn't going to work.
Listen, because people are not understanding you the way you think they're understanding you.
That's right. Give it a couple weeks.
So what you're saying is I've really upset the Greek people with my comments earlier.
They're coming for you, man.
They're coming.
Yeah.
If you come, it's cool. Just bring euros.
Yeah, just bring your own beer, man. Bring your own beer. So
bring them.
Do you
euros, man? If the Greeks are coming to kill me, just let me have a euro first, and I'm good.
They are very delicious. I can't argue with his logic. I mean, if you're gonna come kill me, like, bring your delicious treats, please.
Right, before, and then I'll
Every place has something that's amazing to offer.
Like,
right?
Listen, if you're gonna come attack me, I swear I won't run. If you bring snacks, if you got snacks, I'll stay.
And if your snacks are good, I might even be turned. I could be indoctrinated onto your side, maybe.
I'll be like, listen,
what you
I'm with you now. I'm with you now. I'm jumping ship and I'm with you. That's what they need to do. What would happen if there was a rebellion on the island and then the whole tribe was like, we're not waiting for a merge. We're dropping our buffs now. And they just like walk 200 yards over to the other tribe.
And we're like,
and they just sit down. Hey, how you doing? We're with you guys now.
We're here now.
We took a vote.
This is us now.
You know what? Jeff would have to call Julie and go, I can't control him. Can you come yell at him for me? Julie would be like, reset.
You have to yell at them, Jeff. If you don't yell at them, they won't know. See, we're all for it. We're all for it. It's a plan. So, okay, who do you think's in trouble for next week then? I mean, like, it's got to be the same tribe. I just can't see them winning now. Like, I can't see them getting anywhere.
Broadcasting problems with Brad. They were still broadcasting those problems with Xander.
And that's why Brad is going to win, because they're giving him the come from behind edit.
Yep. The sneak.
He's getting the edit. I'm telling you, he won.
It's because he's getting
to the guy who called Big Brother on the.
He's getting the crazy Tony edit. Like, we're hiding in.
Well, the thing is that he's doing that, but he hasn't really gained anything from doing it.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, because he did hear them, but there wasn't any like.
All he could hear was them saying he, and he knew it was they were talking about him, but he didn't hear what they were saying.
Right, and then like JP being
crazy,
more relaxed.
If you're acting crazy,
but everyone likes JP.
Yeah, and JP was all like, "I'm chilled now. I'm cool. I was really worried, but now I'm fine." I love it.
Right. But if you're running around and you're acting crazy, you risk people seeing that. And if you're not getting anything from
what's her name did see it, she was all like, he was after it, and I'm feeling a little bit weird about Brad.
Right. And so then now you've risked it, but you don't have anything to show for the risk you just took.
See, that's where you need to step in. I feel like if you saw something like that happen, okay, so if you were there and you're sitting there at the fire with Brad and he goes bolting after these people, and then you see him run back before they come back, I mean, it's clear, you know what he's doing.
Right.
So wouldn't it be wise to pull him inside and be like, so what'd you hear? Did you hear anything?
Somebody did.
Well, if you want to go that route, or maybe they come back from the well or whatever, and you go.
And you're like, he was all over scouting you guys.
What happened over there? Did Brad come and scare you guys?
Right? Like he ran off
because
and his eyes closed the whole time he was running.
You didn't even know, but you've told. Oh, I'm sorry. Was I not supposed to tell that? Oh,
right. I didn't realize we were keeping secrets, Brad.
Yeah, exactly. That would be the sneaky way to let it out without betraying anyone, because you thought he was running over there, play a mean prank.
Yes. That's what Cassandra would do. She'd be like, yeah, he was chasing after you. So weird. Then he'd
He
she'd
must
go
be
back
really
and be
bored.
like,
He ran over there. Boy,
he
he has to
ran.
pick up on him.
Yep. He was talking so many bad things. He like stole the salt. I mean, this guy. Let's get out of here.
He ate all the rice.
He ate all the rice.
They gave us a bag of rice. You know they do that every year. He ate it all.
Took it all. That's why we don't have rice. Oh my goodness. So
I guess we'll have to
Rickard,
see next week, but I don't think that Blue's going to stop winning. I think Blue's going to keep winning for a little while.
Now last week they were so far behind and they still won. Like,
yeah,
they've got the goods. Like they're going to be tough to win against in the competitions. I don't.
Yeah,
I can't see them.
They've
not
got 3 able-bodied men and 2 really strong ladies. Well, I guess Erica's not. Well, no, Erica's not. She's tiny, but she's not. She looks like she would be a little kind of tough. And your favorite Sydney. So, yeah.
I know. It's so
the team looks so solid.
I'm like legit. I'm just like this one, and then I'm like, they're not showing her at all. I'm like, I still know nothing about Sydney. I know nothing. I'm going to keep it that way.
That's
fly under the radar. You're good.
Well, here's the thing. You're not going to see a lot of Blue if they're not having to go to tribal.
Right. They're not.
Because there's no story to tell there yet. They don't have really, they're winning.
Yeah. Unless there's like a big tiff at camp, the only way they're going to get camera time right now is losing.
And apparently nobody there is running off to look for idols. So we haven't seen that either. And that's why we saw the green team, because Brad was doing that.
And Jeannie's safe for another week. Jeannie, not long for this game, is safe for another week. She seemed to think that the butterfly comment was the weirdest. Like, I think her above anybody else was like, what the hell? Like, what's wrong with this?
Okay, but can we talk about Rickard? Because he was like my second favorite, like the first week.
He's so paranoid about
he's
everybody.
kind of a mean little prick.
I know.
But he didn't get that edit week 1.
But is he the right amount of paranoid? Is he like paranoid of not
no paranoid
in a healthy way where
angry.
You're like,
okay, but here's the thing. He is paranoid and he is astute, like he's watching things.
Right.
But I think where it's bad is that he is not coming to people about his thoughts in like a pragmatic, thoughtful, he's like, you know what I mean? And that's going to get people like, instead of saying, oh, well, your name came up, like he mentioned your name 2 weeks after he mentioned your name. It's one of those things that it's going to instantly turn on him and be like, he was talking mad smack about you. You know what I mean? And he doesn't even have to say something bad. But when this person for nothing, it's going to make him look pretty yucky, and it's going to turn on him. Like he's going to be the next neurosurgeon that's blindsided.
Yeah, no, I think he's almost like he's playing too hard all of a sudden.
Well, yeah, and also his hair is going to make somebody jealous. Like, let's just face it.
Oh, it makes me jealous, for real.
He's got some beautiful hair.
No. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
My husband is convinced that Rickard colors his hair gray.
Do you think so? Because he's
convinced. He's like, there is no way that your hair could be that gray, but then your beard is not gray. And I'm like, wouldn't it make more sense that he's coloring his beard than his hair?
Yeah, maybe he dyes his beard.
I'm like, maybe. I go, but or maybe it's just, he's like, usually your facial hair goes gray way faster.
He does have a young.
You don't think so? Okay.
No, my facial hair is still dark.
Is it?
I have no dark hair left.
Well, if he has any ginger, then that usually tends to be the gray beard pops up faster. But it's clear that he has no ginger.
No ginger
there. But
I did not know that about the ginger. Okay, good to know.
He is very but he's kind of sketch. He's a little sketch. He would make me nervous. But he could be fun to watch.
He looks capable.
Yes.
Yeah,
I said, I'm not counting him out as a.
But I found him the first week. I found him charismatic, and the second week he was off-putting, and I just was surprised at the change. And sometimes it's just the edit, right? But
right. So let's see what happens next week. I hope it's better because I wanted to really like him, or I did really like him, and I want to continue liking him.
And Jeannie is on an e-ticket out of here. By the way, you both said it. She's gone. She should have been gone week 1. I don't understand.
If her tribe is, put in danger.
This might be the thing that is coloring people's minds. Like, usually we know that the first people to go are usually the older people or the or the heavier people. And I wonder if it's in everybody's head that they don't want to stereotype people. So that's why you see last week that they send home Eric instead of Tiffany, and then they send home another person. Like, are they their own worst enemy? Like, they're trying to be so fair that they're now not being fair. They're shooting their own foot. And then they kind of did, the green team did the same thing, kind of with sending home Sarah instead of Jeannie. It's like, you know what I mean?
I don't
like
know.
Maybe,
there's got to be something, because I can't.
They're like, oh, we don't want to do that. We don't want to be so like.
Jeannie should have been gone.
Sure.
That's all I gotta say.
Do you mean
Tiffany?
So or Jeannie last week? Do you mean Jeannie last week should have been gone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, there was no reason to send Sarah.
No, that's just the thing. There really wasn't. Why? She was capable, but it's because there was a puzzle and it didn't go well. And the puzzle maker either succeeds or burns in the fire. It's just how it is.
I just don't think that's
But see, if she would have gone, I would have gotten a lot of points. That's why I'm saying she should have been gone.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually like, I'm with you, Christy, though. I honestly think it's one of the most unfair things about the show. Not the setup of the show, but the traditional way of voting on the show is where there's a competition. At the end of the physical part of the competition, there's some sort of puzzle. Mm-hmm. And then you have the people, everybody volunteers for what role they're going to play. The people that aren't very good with the physical competition part are usually the ones that just go over to the puzzle part. That could mean that they're really good with puzzles, or it could mean that they're also not good at puzzles.
Right, but they know they can't swim.
At competition,
but they're Surrey and they know they can't swim.
I'm not going to be a fast swimmer, or I'm not going to have upper body strength to do that physical part or whatever.
But the unfair part of it is that so often, if that tribe fails, the person doing the puzzle is the easy person to send home. But there has been countless times where the puzzle person gets a late start because whatever's happening behind him in the physical competition is an entire minute and a half behind the other two teams.
Yeah.
But it's the easy out. It's the easy person to cut. It's just, especially at the beginning of a game.
It's the last screw up that you can actually point to in your demise, right?
Well, and the hope is if you see somebody is physically capable, but for what you can make excuses for why the physical part of the competition didn't go well, because it's usually not one person, it's a group of people, usually having to move something or work as a team. So maybe it's not as easy to pinpoint one person as it is the person working on the puzzle who misplaces the puzzle piece or can't solve the puzzle as fast. But it's always the puzzle person.
No,
because you need the competitive physical people at camp. So
when I watched the turtle puzzle get put together this week, I couldn't escape the feeling that Xavier could have put it together in about 11 seconds.
Right? Yeah, he knows.
I mean, he put that one puzzle together and it was amazing.
Yeah.
Zippity zip. So
that's crazy.
Some of these puzzles are probably pretty dang difficult when they're all like laying out in front of you and everyone's screaming. And then we have like the horrible fight across that balance beam this weekend. And then suddenly everyone starts yelling at her in slow motion. That probably didn't help her. Did you guys get that? Where they slowed everything down and Jeff's like, go.
They've been doing some shots like that are, yeah.
I'm like, that's not going to help her. That's very confusing. That probably makes her feel like she's going really fast.
I totally thought of the thing that we haven't talked about for 2 weeks. What's the deal with the pictogram things that they keep showing?
Well, that's for the kids. Like they said, involve the kids. And then my kid's like, meh. So I don't know.
Oh, see, I missed it, but I was like, what is it?
Like, and now we're going to get the kids involved with the game. I know, something along those lines. And then they show it, and then it's something they're supposed to do online. So,
but it was so quick. I was looking online to see if I could find them, to see what they said.
Right.
I knew it was something about
because it's like you have to solve
day one, something, but I couldn't. I think the first one was Day One Alliance. I'm not
if
sure.
anybody is watching this and they know, like, give us a message and let us know what they know about it, and we'll go from there. Because I've seen them. I've seen it both weeks, but I'm like,
but that's new this year, right?
Yeah, that's a brand new thing.
Because I'm like,
because it's like future. What is it like? Future Survivor. Like this is for like future Survivor players. Like kids watching this now, they're gonna play Survivor. You know.
Okay.
Because we're gonna be here for 150 years.
Well, maybe I'll dig them up and I'll tell you what I find out what they are. Because they show up for that second, but it's not fast. It's too fast.
No, it's really fast. It's really fast.
It's really fast.
Zip.
So anyway, I'll have to go.
He should yell at it in slow motion, and then maybe we can catch it.
Well, I'm watching it live, so I can't even pause it.
That's right. You don't even.
And I love a puzzle. Ooh, I love a puzzle. Anyway. All right.
Well,
we can't give
That's a risky place to be
on our Survivor thing. So I guess we'll have to give updates next week.
I don't know why it's not updating. It's really odd. It usually updates the next
I'm trying to tell you.
I'm
telling you. It's the retrograde and the sun flares.
Sure. I 100% believe that that's what it is.
It's just how it's going to be for
everything goes crazy. Electronics. Don't sign any documents or contracts during Mercury retrograde. Just don't.
Nope. No court cases either. Dang it.
Don't make any big decisions.
I got to text Brian right now. No court cases.
He's got the weekend off. He's good. He's good. He's got a long.
Yeah, no, he won't come to Raleigh. But if your
technology can break, telling you from experience, it will. Never have a problem getting into the podcast on my computer, and then it wouldn't start tonight. I could not get in.
Can I sign my bar tab? Is that okay?
It happens.
I mean, if you want to risk it.
Well, I'm saying they probably will be mad if I don't. So
that's true. You don't want.
So I know what. I'm just gonna look real quick.
Do you see it? See, I can't even get the cast to come up on an entirely different site. It's out there. It's a weird world.
So God definitely won some points because you should have got points for Brad getting immunity. Do they consider them the green team getting immunity that they didn't have to go tribal?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah.
I would consider them both. If you don't go tribal, that's immunity, right?
Yep.
So you get points for that. And Rickard being safe, and
we're not doing the early thing this year, right?
We're not doing what?
You turned off the early thing, so as long as you
I did. I thought it might make it a more even playing field for everyone. I don't know.
Yeah, that stopped me from repeating after my championship year because I would forget till like Wednesday.
Because if you got in there and you did your thing right away, you could zoom past people. So I don't know. I thought it would make it worth it for people who maybe got behind and forgot a week here and wouldn't be so far behind.
Right. I mean, JP won 1 year literally
trying to figure it out.
He set a reminder on his iPhone to tell him to.
Who did?
JP. He didn't even have good picks. He just had his picks in on time every week.
But you get them in early, you get those bonus points.
I'm just saying, this is a lesson you should learn by grade school's finish. Get your assignment in on time. That's half your grade, man.
That is correct. I'm trying to. This is impossible to look at really on its own.
No, it is. It's very difficult.
All of our VIPs are still in.
Yep.
But no.
Did you see who my MVP is too?
Oh, David, I can barely hear you.
Who is your MVP?
Xander.
Sorry. I'm struggling.
Xander?
Yeah.
Nice.
See, because you know why? Because he doesn't do backflips.
Well, and now the stakes are raised with this whole new twist.
It is.
A twist? A double twist?
This double twist, triple flip.
Yeah.
Xander's aerobics.
What else you guys got on the Survivor front? Anything?
That's all I got right now.
That's all I got.
Jeff is looking old.
Jeff
For
is
the
what?
first time. I'm going to say that. Jeff looks old.
Yeah, it's true. It's not just us. Everybody says so. Everybody's saying it.
But him and Mike White, for sure, were doing something when they came up with those phrases.
Something.
They were doing
edibles,
something.
For sure, edibles.
Something. Right. I think maybe they were.
Let's get on a plane and take some edibles.
Tripping and chasing some butterflies around or something. I don't know.
Throwing small trees, pretending they're dinosaurs. I mean, whatever.
I'm gonna eat the entire tree in one bite.
Rawr, rawr, rawr.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, you guys, rawr.
Jeff's
awesome.
walking around with T-Rex arms. Something's going on over there, but
Oh, that sounds
all right.
like a
Well,
blast.
I guess
Let 'em
next
go.
week we all think that Yellow's in trouble and Tiffany might go home. We hope Tiffany.
Yeah.
Or Jeannie. Jeannie could go home too, and David would be happy, but not as happy as he would have been week 1. So
Yeah.
Well, I don't care if she goes home now. I don't ever pick.
now you have no horse in the race.
I'm
Maybe
bitter.
you'll pick her for next week then.
All that
Maybe.
matters is that Xander's
Pick her for next week, and then you can root for her to go home again. All right. Well, probably time to wrap it up. Thanks for
It's
joining
that
us
time.
tonight, guys, and coming in.
We got a different button pusher this week. David, excellent job with all of your.
Yeah, good job.
You
didn't kick us off. You didn't mute us.
Nope.
Oh, and thanks for coming in to the chat. Preston.
Thanks for hanging.
I'm like,
hanging out.
Thanks for the background. Good job.
No big deal. What is your background, Jamie? I've been trying to figure it out. I think it might be a poster from.
I want everyone to take a guess of what it is.
I thought it was a
think it's
kidney
from
stone.
Aliens.
Okay. I'll tell you when. I'll tell you.
David's getting
I'll
it.
tell
He's
you
like,
when
it
it's
does have
done.
like an
I'll
alien
tell
head.
you when it's done.
I was
I'll tell you
thinking
what it
alien
is.
too, but I went with kidney stone because it sounded gross.
But it looks like the Queen from Aliens.
Okay, are you ready for it? I'll tell you. I'll tell you because this was gifted to me as a mean gift because I don't love this at all. So it's actually up as a joke, and it's upside down to show my rebellion against it. But I don't know if
Is it a potato?
No, it's.
Is it cheese?
I don't know if you can see it.
Is it a lion?
It's Scott's staff from Creed.
It's what?
It's Scott's staff from Creed. It's a Creed poster. The worst rock band ever.
Next week, could you please put up your Nickelback poster? That'd be great.
Nothing but ramen noodle hair as far as the eye can see.
Well, I'm on tonight through my phone, so your guys' pictures are not very big, so I can't really see it.
That's okay. It
looks like the alien queen, frankly.
It does. It looks like the alien to me too.
I can see that. That's better.
With
but thanks, Preston.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us, and thanks for the horrible
Have
poster
a great weekend.
gift. Thanks so much.
Next week at 9 p.m. Eastern.
9 p.m. Eastern time. We don't care what the hell time it is Central. I want to be clear on that point. It's 9 p.m. Eastern. If you're in Central, just figure it out.
And him acting like he's not a shy boy, right? Like he grew up Central Standard Time his entire life.
Too
bad.
good.
And prime time is on at 7 p.m. What the hell?
Do you call your folks and when it's like 8 your time and it's 7 their time and like they're like, why are you waking us up?
No, it's more likely I'm going to call like it's midnight here and it's 11 there. That'd be more likely. But my dad's in Florida. My dad's up in the villages.
See, he's joined him. They've all abandoned.
My dad's in the villages, the VD capital of Florida.
Capital of Florida.
It is,
wow.
and it's all retired people, 100,000
I
of them.
feel like that. I mean, all time zones are equal in their own right, but that Central is probably the best one.
I thought you were going to say all time zones.
Let's be clear that I have lived in both, and Central is the armpit of time zones.
Central's the armpit of America, buddy. I hate to break it to you.
Really
it's just
is.
how it is.
David God just couldn't wait to be an East Coast elite.
I've been one for more. I have to figure it out. It's probably close. I've probably been on the East Coast more than
like half your life already.
Yeah, it's got to be close.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm guessing Central's a little bit got the edge yet.
You can feel elite with your shore sides and all of that until global warming has its say, and then the Central.
I live 9 miles from the ocean. I just figure I'm going to have oceanfront property.
I mean, ocean in property, but whatever. Yeah, boathouses are cool too. Whatever.
The alligators won't like it.
Well, on that note, let's get out of here, guys.
See y'all.
Let's go.